We are at the final chapter, the destination toward which this entire book has been leading us, step by step, from the very first word. Patanjali now answers the deepest question of all: who truly is the one who knows within us? And he walks with us all the way to the threshold of full freedom, the liberation he promised from the very beginning. These are the highest and most luminous pages of the entire work. Let us receive them with an open heart. Sutras 4.18 through 4.21. The mind is always known by the one who observes it, because the mind itself has no light of its own, but is something that is observed. Patanjali draws a decisive distinction. Our mind, with all its thoughts, is always known, always observed. By whom? By a presence that stands behind it unchanging, the one who observes, pure consciousness. And here is the crucial point. The mind does not shine with its own light because it too is something that is observed, an object. The moon does not shine with its own light, it reflects the sun. In the same way, the mind is not the source of awareness, it receives it. If the mind could know itself directly, says Patanjali, an endless confusion would arise, a hall of mirrors with no end. No, there is one true light, steady and silent behind everything, and everything else is what that light illuminates. We are not the mind that is illuminated. We are the light that illuminates. Sutras 4.22 through 4.24. Consciousness, though unchanging, comes to know itself through the mind, and the mind, though rich with countless impressions, exists to serve another, consciousness. Patanjali deepens this delicate relationship. Pure consciousness, though it never changes, comes to know itself when the mind, made clear and transparent, takes on its form, like a polished mirror that reflects the sun and so shows it. And the mind, however rich, however complex, however full of countless impressions and tendencies, does not exist for itself. It exists to serve another, to be the instrument through which consciousness gains experience. This is a profound reversal of our usual perspective. We believe the mind is the master, the center of everything. Patanjali tells us it is the servant, and that the true sovereign is that silent presence we so often forget entirely. Sutras 4.25 through 4.26. For one who has seen this distinction, every restless question about the self ceases, and the mind begins to move naturally toward freedom. And here is what happens when one finally sees, with clarity, the difference between the mind and the consciousness that observes it. That restless, perpetual question, who am I, what am I, which has tormented us always, simply ceases because the answer has been found, not in words but through direct vision. And from that moment, says Patanjali in a beautiful image, the mind begins naturally to move toward freedom, like a river that, once it finds the slope, flows down on its own toward the sea. There is no more pushing needed. Once the truth has been seen, one's whole being orients itself toward liberation. This is the point of no return on the path, where effort gives way to a gentle inevitability. Sutras 4.27 through 4.28. In the gaps, old thoughts may still surface from the impressions of the past, but they dissolve in the same way one has learned to dissolve the afflictions. Patanjali remains realistic to the very end. Even at this very high level, he says, in the intervals, in the pauses of clarity, old thoughts may still rise to the surface, residues of ancient impressions, last seeds still floating. This is not a failure, it is normal. And the remedy is the same one we have learned throughout the entire journey. Let them dissolve, exactly as we did with the roots of suffering, without fear, without clinging. Even close to the destination, the practice remains the same. Recognize what surfaces and let it pass, until even the last residues are spent. Sutra 4.29. One who desires nothing more, not even the highest wisdom, enters the stillness called the cloud of virtue. And here Patanjali names one of the most sublime states in the entire spiritual tradition. When a person has reached a detachment so complete that they desire nothing more, not even the highest knowledge, not even enlightenment itself. They enter a state of the deepest quiet, which carries a beautiful name, the cloud of virtue. It is like a cloud heavy with nourishing rain, ready to pour down grace. Detachment has become perfect. Nothing is sought anymore, not even the spiritual prize, and precisely in this seeking nothing more, the sky opens. One who wants nothing has everything. Sutras 4.30 through 4.31. From that cloud, suffering and the actions that bind cease forever, and knowledge, freed from every veil, becomes almost infinite. From the cloud of virtue, true liberation descends. The afflictions cease forever, says Patanjali, the 5 roots of suffering and the accumulation of actions that bind. The wheel stops turning. And since all the veils, all the impurities that covered knowledge have been removed, what remains to be known is very little indeed. Wisdom becomes vast, almost infinite, clear as an open sky after every cloud has dissolved. This is the state of one who sees everything plainly, because nothing clouds the vision any longer. Sutras 4.32 through 4.33. Then the forces of nature, having fulfilled their purpose, grow still, and the succession of moments reaches its end. At this point, says Patanjali, the 3 fundamental qualities of nature, those that set everything in motion, light, movement, and stillness, having now completed their purpose, which was to lead us through experience and finally to freedom, grow still and cease their endless transforming. It is like when a performance ends. The actors stop, the lights go out because they have done what they were there to do. And with them, the succession of moments also reaches its end, the very flow of time as we had known it. For one who is free, the film is over, and with it, the running of time that measured it out. Sutra 4.34. Liberation is this: the forces of nature, having exhausted every purpose, withdraw, and consciousness rests radiant in its own pure nature. Here is the last sentence of the book, the destination, the fulfillment of everything. Patanjali calls it by its name: freedom, the luminous aloneness of consciousness. The forces of nature, having nothing more to offer one who desires nothing more, withdraw to their source. And what remains simply is pure consciousness, resting, stable, and radiant in its own nature, free, with nothing left to veil it, drag it, or confuse it. It is the same one who observes resting in their own true nature, announced in the 3rd sutra of the 1st book. The circle closes. The whole journey from the restless mind all the way to here was nothing other than the return home, to what we always were beneath the noise. The peace we were seeking was never anywhere else. It was our truest nature, which at last, after so much walking, we can inhabit forever. And so the book of Patanjali closes. We have traveled from the first word, now, to the last, freedom. We have learned that yoga is the stilling of the movements of the mind, and that in that stillness the one who observes returns to rest in themselves. We have come to know the roots of suffering and the 8 branches that dissolve them, the power of the gathered mind and the wisdom of not stopping even before its wonders, all the way to the supreme detachment that opens the doors of freedom. 196 seeds unrolled one by one. Now they remain with you to be kept and above all to be lived, because Patanjali did not want to teach us something. He wanted to set us free. May the wind grow still on your lake, and may you see yourself reflected, clear and undistorted in your own true nature. Thank you for listening all the way to the end.